Hi guys. So today's episode we're going to be talking about operating systems between Linux and Windows. Now Linux and Windows, those are different operating systems. Linux is a different operating system on its own, whereby various programming activities are being carried out upon easily. It's just like also the Ubuntu operating system. Linux has its own database that is more for the use of analysis, for hacking, and for forensics and lots of that. So many things Windows doesn't have access to. So Windows is the normal casual operating system that we all have access to. Windows 7 from the Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, and now the Windows 11, which we have. The file systems, we're going to be talking about how the file systems have been organized on both platforms, the user accounts, the CLI usage, and the process management. So the file systems, this is how an OS organizes and stores files on disk. That's on the Linux. You have all the common file systems. That's the ext4, the XFS, and the BTRFS. Then we have the hierarchical structure starting as root. That's the root files that you understand more if you study anything about programming. Which are root files. Everything is treated as a file, even devices they come as a file, not as it's being named. When you connect on a Windows system, you connect your phone, for example, it shows your phone's name and the device and all that. Or you connect a flash drive, you can show okay device this or how you named it sometimes. So like you see on Windows, the common file systems we have the NTFS, we have the FAST32, we have the EXFAT uses drive letters and examples, the C folder, the D folder, it could be the E, it could be the F. Then the files organized in different folders, and understand as I explained earlier. So the user accounts. Now this is what controls who can access the system, um, what it can be used for, and just have access to the whole system itself. And Linux, it has the regular user, that's the root admin. The root file is always tagged as admin. That's configured via password or shadow. And then we have the permissions, that's like read, write, or execute. Not like Windows, which has its own command prompts and all. Yeah, so Windows, that's its own control panel, or this very command is just like running the run command, the Windows run command, just like where all the command prompt itself, and it has the administrator, which is the standard, and guest roles, it could be guest or whatever you decide to name it. Then the permissions sets via GUI or NTFS. Yeah, the command line interface, the command prompt which I mentioned about earlier, and on Linux is the command line. That's what it's called. Now both systems allow deep control and automation. That's they allow programmed controls. They allow you to have access to places and folders, commands and controls that you cannot normally configure from the normal setup and the normal clicks. And the Linux uses what we call bash shells. They are shells just like codes and command or prompts. LS, the CD, MKDIR, the RM, you know. So I'm going to make a video that's going to explain each and every one of these abbreviations. So they use these man pages for help. It's just like I said, the Windows has its own. Both of them have their different commands. So it's powerful for scripting and system administration. As I said, you want to write codes, you want to perform hacks, go for Linux. And the Windows, that's the command prompt or the PowerShell. Command prompt, You can get that from the search option or from the administrator search option. Then the PowerShell, as you can see that is like tax skill. Then these are the commands already. DRL, CD, MKDL, the task leaks, task skill. There's so many of them. There's IP config to check your IP addresses. There's a lot of them. You can use it to wipe hard drive, to make root files, bootable devices, and all. So this is how the command line interface looks like. This is how it's being shown. So process management, how the OS handles running applications, Linux, views, PS, SUB, and HTOP. So these are things I'm going to make videos. I'm going to make another video to explain them so that you understand how the OS handles it. These are just like codes or shortcuts that you use to get this place. And then Windows, you can see all this from the task manager. So this is the shortcut code: Control Shift Escape or tax list. You can search it, or you can just type tax manager. Then you can use Q or tax Q, or you can use end tax. That's under each on the tax manager. You want to end the task or something, you just use that. And services are managed, and all.